I often question this. Is marriage just a piece of paper? Because it was like that for me at some point. Well, here's an answer. Makes a little sense to me. Check it out.
One of the five biggest challenges black people have for the next 100 years, the number one challenge is the existential crisis of the black family. The existential crisis of the black family. Marriage in our culture is down to 34%. When we were growing up, it was 85%. It's now down to 34%. 71% of our sisters are not married, 29% will never get married, 63% of our brothers are not married, 30% of them will never get married. There is no culture in the history of humankind that has risen to maximize their full human potential without family at the center of their culture. This only exists. This is an interesting but negative statistic. This phenomenon of the existential crisis of our family only exists among African American black people. It does not exist on the continent or anywhere else in the diaspora, so there must be something in the water. We must fix this. It is a lot easier said than done because it is impacting our wealth. Quick statistics. For 350 years, household median income was dominated by white people. They were number one in this country. They no longer are number one, they're number three, and there's a reason for it. So, who has the highest household median wealth in America? It's East Indians, $104,000 a year. What's the marriage rate in the East Indian culture? 94%. Two are working. Who's number two? Chinese Asians. Household median income, $110,000 a year. Marriage rate close to 70%. Number three are white people. Household median income, $88,000 a year. What's the marriage rate? Almost 50%. Down significantly. Number four are Hispanics. Household median income, $61,000 a year. Marriage rate close to 70%. We are at the bottom. Household median income, $55,000 a year. Marriage rate, 34%. And projected based on facts and statistics that if we do not fix this, because white folks ain't fixing this, our marriage rate will be in the low teens in the next 20 years. We must, this is an enormous challenge. That's a whole talk by itself on how do we fix it. It can be fixed, but we have to, first of all, understand that this is a problem. No one's talking about this problem. This is a huge problem. It's the number one problem in our culture. So we must fix it.
See, when I started to recognize this, I started to value the institution of marriage. Prior, I didn't understand. I thought the institution of marriage was about the vows, was about your word. And when I realized that most of the people who I knew didn't value those vows, didn't value their word, didn't honor those things, I didn't respect the institution of marriage. But when I learned that the institution of marriage was bigger than your vows, that it was more about family structure, interdependency, helping to build one another, I valued the institution of marriage a lot differently. Now I advocate and promote the institution of marriage, although I'm not married and although it doesn't work for everyone. But we need to learn to trust one another a little better so that we can have a lot more value as a family, as a community. And this might help us. So I now advocate the institution of marriage, or I now look after it. Yeah, the vows can be important, but more importantly, the family structure, the interdependency to grow the community is why I vow for that. So now it's not for everybody, but I will say this: two is always more than one. And then when you have two people that can trust one another and rely on one another, you have the opportunity to have more growth, as opposed to being by yourself. As opposed to being independent, interdependency can be helpful. And let's grow. Grow to trust one another, grow to build with one another, and grow to have each other's back. Straight talk, straight understanding. Sean Bolden, Sean B. Hope this was valuable. If it was, subscribe, like, share, press those buttons. That subscribe, the little bell, the like with the little thumbs up, and comment. I want to know your intimate feelings, your thoughts, what you feel about these things. What do you feel about the institution of marriage? Is it just a piece of paper, or is it something more substantial? Straight talk short. Sean Bolden, Sean B. Peace. H2O.